I think women still need men. I just don't think they don't need them the way that they used to, because you can, rent an apartment, buy a home, get a job, and all of those things. So, like, the base needs in that sense, you don't need that. But I think there is something to be said about entering marriage and fulfilling each other's purposes and building legacy, building community. That need still exists, because you can't really do that without that type of partnership.
Women still and always will have an emotional need for men. Okay, here's why. And they also will have a financial need for men. It's just delayed. And I want to talk about the financial need. What that woman said is contradictory, because just ask women. Look at the statistics. When do women start scaling back from work? As men income increase, women pull back, right? So you're making a promise, you're making a bet with yourself that we understand women work.
So here's another a form of happiness for some people, not necessarily anybody on this panel, but watch the video.
Come true. Listen in. Oh no! I might be alone without a man someday when I'm 60 years old. Oh no! Whatever will I do? My world is ending. Oh no! Are you seriously trying to use that tired old scare tactic from like 70 years ago, where you threaten women by telling them, oh, you're not going to have a man someday. You're going to be all alone without a man someday. Really? Come on, man. It's 2022, okay? Get with the times. Let me fill you in on a little secret here. Women don't give a shit if we have a man or not. Okay? We don't care anymore, because we don't need men anymore. We have our own careers now. We have our own money now. We have our own homes now. We literally have everything that we need, and we can provide that for ourselves. So why do we need you? We don't. If we have a man, it's because we want to have one. And in fact, I think it's that very thing that's making so many of you lose your fucking minds now, because now it has suddenly dawned on you that we don't need you anymore, and that we don't have to settle for mediocre behavior. We're allowed to have standards now. And that right there is what's making you lose your fucking minds. And that right there is why you have been in my comment section throwing a crying hissy fit for the last 24 hours.
Okay, I'm sorry for her potty mouth.
She's right.
Chic, we do not use such words. I'm joking.
Shout out to her bottom lip. You know what I'm saying?
And that laugh, did you hear that laugh? What are you guys' thoughts on that? Sorry, that's JR. What are your thoughts on that?
She's correct.
I think it's shout out to her top lip if she had one.
Oh, her bottom lip was there. That's why I said shout out to the bottom. I seen
They
that
had
one.
nice
clear as
teeth.
day.
Do not judge people on their looks.
I'm not. I think it's a nice bottom lip. It's something you can suck on.
Not the person.
Wait, what, Cheeky? I'm just kidding. She had nice teeth, though, I will say.
She did.
Okay, so what are you guys' thoughts on that?
She right.
Hey, JR.
Hey, that's my son.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't know I wasn't muted. Why are you messing me up?
Who said she right?
What your thoughts? Sorry.
I don't agree with all of her points. There are definitely some things that I disagree with, but I think the idea of what needing a man used to look like versus what it looks like now is very different. And I think people still articulate it as a want. I don't agree with just the want. I do agree that women are requiring more of men, which is why they are more hesitant and maybe less decisive. But I think myself, my opinion, I think women still need men. I just don't think they don't need them the way that they used to, because you can, rent an apartment, buy a home, get a job, and all of those things. So, like, the base needs in that sense, you don't need that. But I think there is something to be said about entering marriage and fulfilling each other's purposes and building legacy, building community. That need still exists because you can't really do that without that type of partnership.
All right. So that was the biggest load of BS. I mean, those type of statements, like, that's feminism at its highest, right? Third wave feminism. But we're in different times now, because it's fallen on deaf ears to the point where I'm looking at the women as she's saying it, and nobody has those reactions to women saying that. That woman looked like she was between 40 and 45 years old. If she doesn't, she probably makes good money. She looked like she was standing in a big room. She probably divorced. That's my guess. Probably divorced and got something from it. All right. But here's my thoughts on what she had to say. Women still and always will have an emotional need for men. Okay. Here's why. And they also will have a financial need for men. It's just delayed. And I want to talk about the financial need. What that woman said is contradictory, because just ask women. Look at the statistics. When do women start scaling back from work? As men income increase, women pull back, right? So you're making a promise, you're making a bet with yourself that we understand women work. I'm in healthcare and education. It's all women there. I understand that women work, right? But what you're saying is, for the rest of your life until retirement, which you will not be able to save for, because most women are average earners or below average, correct? You won't be able to save for it. You're saying that you're willing to work 40 hours a week, which is 8 hours a day, which is almost a third of your life for the rest of your life. When you break it down like that, most women are going to say, hell no, right? A third of your life spent at work. Over the age of 40, whether a woman is married or not, she still has kids. So if a man ain't there, you're the one doing a brunt of that work. You're naturally going to have a need for a man to supplement these things. All right. He starts to financially peak. You can pull back and focus on the children. That is what satisfaction usually looks like for the woman who has been patient and waited for it. She's been married to the man all that time. They might have empty nest soon. They can start going on trips, right? All of that. So what women are saying is, wow, I can do all these things for myself. I call BS on the fact that they actually want to. They do not want to work like men, nor do they have the capacity to work like men for the entirety of their life.
I'm gonna take it to another angle. I think it's very irrational and crazy to think that you're gonna live the rest of your long life without family. Um, if she didn't create children, she doesn't have a husband, she has no base of support, then she's gonna be the burden on somebody else. Say she gets sick, or can't work in the way maybe she was. Uh, like, your kids could piss you off, but so she might be living a life where she can find some type of happiness in buying material possessions. But the thing is, when you buy things, after you buy them, you don't appreciate them no more. You know that joy and all that is, it's only momentary. With a family, it's like a renewable source of happiness and joy. They'll piss you off, and then they'll do something you like. That's so cute. All of that poopy diaper stuff, it's out the window, And as they get older, your kids can step in and be more than just a burden for you or something you got to take care of. And like when my grandma started aging, I was there for that, to help change the diapers and all this stuff that I needed to do to help her get her groceries, all those things. The point of building a family is because you can't always do things on your own. Outside of all the benefits that you get from it, you will need people in this life. And it's really, really hard to put that expectation on people you didn't pour into first.
And what I will add on to that, everyone needs someone, and I wholeheartedly agree that women still do need a man. It may not be for the financial piece, it may not be for the same things that women needed a man for traditionally or conventionally years and years ago, but emotionally, women still do need a man. Adam and Eve were created for a reason.
Let me ask you a question off of that, because you guys all said emotionally, and I think that this goes back to Inaz's original statement earlier. I think that the problem is the man capturing your emotional piece. You understand? I think that it was easier to find a mate when the other things, like, for example, provision, all of those things were just involved. But I think the emotions is a little different, because you got to actually like there's something about this guy that has to be able to grasp your emotions, and you want to do something. You want to go above and beyond. You want to do this. And I think that that's probably one of the hardest things to get to, right? Would y'all not agree? A person's
Yeah.
emotions? You don't agree? Go ahead, Enos.
No?
Tell me what.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I don't agree, because I think that women are asking for more emotional intelligence out of men now than they ever have previously. But I think if we're going to talk about what triggers a woman's emotions and her wanting to bond, really, if a man's just being a decent man, it'll trigger those emotions. If he's providing, if he's protecting, if he's an active father, if he's those things elicit emotions out of women. So I think that happened before. I likability is different, but like you still get those feelings of fondness towards that person if they're doing the things that they said that they were going to do. But I think women now are asking more of men than they have in the past, because all of the base needs are already or can be met on their own. Yes, to what Trigger Mike was saying, it's not the same level without partnership, but you can still do it, right? And so now women are asking for you to be not only emotionally regulated, but you got to be able to put up with my emotions too. They're asking that you be, you have more of a variety or vocabulary around your own emotions. They're asking for men to be more emotional than men have been asked before. And I think that's where things get more complicated now.
And you know what's interesting is I'm only speaking of Western culture, but we're more lacking of regulating our emotions. We're more emotionally sensitive, emotionally soft than ever before. And I think that's for men and women. So it's just interesting to see like all these opportunities and all these advancements, yet we are fragile as hell, basically. So
I don't get you people. I don't get it. Y'all are saying
he needs a break.
emotion this, emotion that. And then when I ask if there is a man that is marriageable, if a man is marriageable, I'm assuming that means his emotions are in check, right? He knows how to do those things y'all looking for. But if you don't want them, you don't want them. Y'all don't care about a lot of the stuff y'all saying y'all care about. The stuff y'all put in priority, y'all don't care about. Y'all want the entire world. And then when you can't get it, all of a sudden there's a problem. That woman is 100% right. Y'all don't need men. And she is the amalgamation of how women feel about men and how they've always felt. And the only reason why women got married is because y'all needed to get married. Now that y'all don't need it, y'all the most single y'all ever been. Y'all the most disgruntled y'all ever been. Y'all the most opposed to men that y'all have ever been ever throughout history, because you don't need it. It's all cap. None of this stuff really makes sense to me. I just don't understand how we come into these conclusions, considering that all these women have met men that are marriageable, but none of those men came across their mind as somebody they could marry, except for one. There's only been one for each person, right? And that person got away. That's a sad story. But there are other men that you've already said is marriage material, and I'm sure that would include some level of emotional intelligence. But now that I'm hearing that emotional intelligence is what it is that women are asking for, you still didn't choose that man. It's more. Y'all are asking for a all-star player.
So
We
what
know
I
the
so I hear. Let me just say this. I hear what Cheeky is saying, because I agree with him, because a person can have emotional intelligence, but guess what? If he doesn't grasp my emotion, if I don't have something for him, it doesn't matter how emotionally intelligent he is. I'm never gonna give him an opportunity. You understand what I'm saying? So I get what he's saying. That's why I'm like, I don't agree with that. Now, I would want the man who I'm emotionally attached to be emotionally intelligent. Absolutely. But to just say a guy has emotional intelligence, that makes him a perfect guy along with these other things, those guys are plentiful probably. It's got to be more than just that women aren't, gravitating towards these guys, in my opinion.
And the same thing, let's make this clear. The same thing goes for dudes too. It's both of us, right? Because men will say, I just want a good homeschool girl with no bodies. And then when they find out they got to teach a woman how to ride it like they wanted to ride it, I don't want her no more. Y'all are confusing. You human beings need to be abducted and dissected to figure out what the hell is wrong with y'all brain. Because y'all are starting to annoy me. I don't get it. It's not that complicated.
Come here,
But it
Cheeky.
is, right? It is cheeky. And I it goes to what I was saying earlier. Hang on. So people don't understand the reality of what they're asking for. Like they don't. That guy who wants a girl with no bodies, who's frustrated about him having to teach, because he didn't actually sit there and think about, am I willing to teach this woman how to do those things? Like that's the problem. Women who are saying we need high emotional intelligence out of a man aren't equipped to really like be a safe space for that man to be vulnerable. They aren't equipped to like, respect the fact that he's emotionally intelligent. And a lot of them aren't emotionally intelligent themselves and are requiring something that they can't bring to the table. People don't understand the reality of the things they're asking for. And when they get it, they don't know what to do with it. That's really the problem. It's not what they want.
So why is it that we're so
I
quick
know
to
she
put
has
it on
something to
somebody
say.
else?
I'm gonna let Tan go after she can. You can go ahead and ask that question, but Tan, you be ready with your thoughts because I know you were trying to say something before and we didn't let you go.
Tan, I'm listening to you, Miss Lincoln.
Go ahead and finish.
Cheeky just want answers. He wants some answers.
Yeah, so we keep saying marriage material. That's such a broad stroke. Marriage material. Um, you can be marriage material and still not be, I still may not be compatible with you. I still not may not be attracted to you. You can be marriage material. Marriage material isn't this end all be all and you're a match for everybody because you're marriage material. That's just not the case. And when I say, and I don't want to go into this too deep, but when I say I'm not attracted to you, we talked about this in another episode. It doesn't necessarily just mean the physical. It means there are other aspects as well. But marriage material is marriage material. It doesn't mean that you are marriage material for Inaz or Coach K or whoever the case may be. It's just you can be marriage material and still not be the right person or perfect match for every single person that crosses your path.